What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC. It's your boy Brian, and today we're gonna mess with our SCX24 FPV car. And last we left off, I was having a shock issue. I just didn't have enough spring to hold up all this FPV equipment and an extra camera so that I could give you guys a better picture while I deal with the FPV shot. I'm waiting on shocks. We went through AliExpress, and we're gonna get some new springs for our stock shocks. We're also gonna get some new shocks, some really cool aluminum ones. They're really close, actually. I think they're just a town or two over, so we should get those and get them installed here very soon. But I found something to get me by until I get those. So I started looking at some of these ink pens. Somebody threw the idea at me to see if a spring from an ink pen will work. And I started going through a bunch of ink pens, and I had springs that were, basically just too small. Well, I finally found one where the spring was really close. It went around the barrel of the shock, no problem. But on the bottom of the barrel, in the little spring cup, it kind of tapers in just so slightly so that the stock spring will lock into it and not kind of go all over the place. Well, this spring doesn't do that. It goes on the barrel, no problem, but it's just a little too small to go onto the spring cup in the bottom. Now, all I did to fix that was basically take the spring. I found a cross ink pen here. I mean, you can grab anything that is the right size, but something just bigger than the spring itself, and I kind of pulled down the first couple coils and got them just big enough, because they will mold. I got them just big enough to go around the bottom cup of that stock shock. Believe it or not, it's actually too much spring. That's why I didn't do the front. I actually have double zip ties up front. If you remember, I put zip ties on the little spring spacers in the top. Well, I put double up front. And that gives me just enough, to keep the FPV camera up in the air. But the rear needed a bunch more. We've got an oversized 2-cell LiPo battery by Venom here, and then we've got our GoPro Session. Both are very, very heavy. It's way more than what the truck comes with stock, so the stock springs are nowhere near enough. It just bottoms this thing out. Well, as you can see, I've got some spring now. If you kind of give it a back and forth, we've got some really good spring action. Now, before you guys run out and get these, these ink pens from Walmart or wherever, just know that these springs are a lot. They're very, very stiff. But for this application, they're just enough for what we need to do. Now, all I want to do is get this truck out and run FPV. Now, we're building a course. I see a lot of you out there with some really great micro courses, and I'm chasing you guys down. I want to do one so bad. So I'm kind of clearing the basement out. But that doesn't mean I can take some of my really cool materials that I've been collecting, like some of these cool tubes, and kind of just set up something in the house real quick and run this thing around. And I'll tell you, as soon as I got this truck on the ground, the bug done bit me right in the rump, because I just, all I want to do. I want to recharge everything and go right back out and run in and out of the tubes. And it wasn't perfect. This truck just barely fits through this tube. So getting in and out of the tube, you got to be squared up nice and neat, and it'll work really well. I plan on doing, some little ramps to get in and out. I mean, once we get our micro course going to where things are going to be set to the ground and done with, that's kind of where they're going to be. I'm not just taping them to the table in the living room. I'm going to make some really nice ramps. I've got a ton of materials coming for our course. This is just a big old swatch of rubber from one of the roofs I did at the RV shop. I'm gonna make a cool bridge out of this. Super thick rubber. I mean, this stuff can go anywhere. But as far as the shocks go, I mean, as you can see, they're nice springs. I mean, they are, if anything, they're too much. But the shot that I get out of this session is completely different than the shot that I get out of this GoPro FPV camera. Now remember, this records also. That's why you got the really cool little shot in the side. But this is what's giving you the really nice shot. Now, as far as where it's at, it is up there nice and high. So it isn't tip prone, but it can definitely roll over quicker than the stock truck can. But this is the setup, minus getting a new ESC. The truck doesn't crawl anymore. This is not a crawler ESC. I've got a really good buddy that's showing me some really cool ESCs that he's promoting right now. I'm going to get one of those ESCs or something else. But as soon as I get, the right crawler ESC, because I don't want to go back to the stock ESC. It's huge. This is a big, giant receiver ESC. This receiver, I've got a Radiolink R6FG receiver in here on its side. That gives me access to my Radiolink RC6GS. I mean, even the version 1 this is stellar. I've got everything on this radio. So that's going to stay for sure. But this is the setup. Sure, we might swap out the tires. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm thinking about getting another one of these SCX24s and scale that one out. Keep the body on it or get a new body, but scale that one out. And then keep this one, as my FPV car, because taking it from this back to this, is not the most difficult thing in the world. I just shot a video where I took this back to this. This little body goes right on here with the 2 teeny tiny screws. Believe it or not, way easier than my Gen 7 did. This is a very easy body to get on and off, even with the teeny tiny micro screws. Believe it or not, the standard little tool sets that everybody has, the smallest Allen is the perfect size for the little micro screws that are in here. And then basically the smallest socket that you get, the little, what is this, the 4.0 millimeter, this is the perfect size for the, I mean, they probably did that on purpose so that you would have tools, because the little Allen key that you get with this. But I'm going to pick up a second one of these, because these are just great trucks. And I have been looking at the Pandas and some of the other micro crawlers, the other 24 scale. I like some of those too. So you're definitely going to see some more micro scale stuff coming up in here. But we're going to get some new stuff coming in here real soon. I'm shopping the dual brushless setup for the Emacs that I've got down here, our twin brushed Emacs. We're going to go dual brushless. We're going to crack that code. So that's coming up real soon. And then remember, all the parts we've got coming for this. We've got a brand new D12 so that I don't have to try to reverse our backwards D12 FPV race car to put on our killer body kit that we have. Remember, we got a killer body kit that we're going to do with carbon fiber. That's coming up as well. Matter of fact, the D12 is also a couple towns the opposite direction from the house. So we should have both these next week. But I had to show you this really cool little shock upgrade just in case you guys needed some more. Because I'm sure you can cut these springs down too, but start ripping apart some ink pens. This is the one that I used, but yeah, definitely check it out if you need to get some more springs. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting a really long time like I am, which, hey, could be really worth it. Guys, I'm going to leave you with some more FPV action out of this little guy right here. We're going to get you guys another cool video very, very soon. Until then, this is Brian. It's Amazing RC.